Howdy, howdy, folks. It's Portland Stew here for episode 29 of the Sorcery 102 podcast. Maybe we'll do
Yeah,
something big for episode 30. And
maybe.
my co host, as always, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby here, Ring Slay. Yeah, so today, back by kind of popular-ish demand, we're going to continue our series of best X drops. So we did one and two drops kind of last time. So we're going to go over three drops today. So we have jump over to TTS here. We're going to start with the worst element, we think, and go up. Not that it's bad, just start with the weakest element in three drops and then work our way forward. So, do we have any intro? I guess my thoughts on this was I didn't end up including any uniques in my list. I just went through and was
Yeah.
like, what are the ones that are kind of auto include or like must considers in this element,
Yeah,
or
like
are
the
reasons to
standard.
play?
Yeah. And I think this list, like the two drop list, was very useful for deck building because I feel like a lot of times decks need to run a few more two drops, especially like decks that draw cards want two drops to sort of double spell with, and decks that need tempo want two drops to get that turn two play. Three drops is more like your bread and butter cards. So I feel like this list is a lot about these five cards are going to be what to expect from turn three on from your opponent, right?
Yeah, and
And
what
I
to be
think
prepared for.
yeah,
Yeah.
focusing on the non-unique cards is important because these are the cards that will be multiple copies that you should really be playing around. And we'll just kind of discuss. I know there's some interesting debates because you don't want to overload your deck with three drops, and there's a lot of good ones out there. So yeah, getting the right combination of these can be tough.
It
So yeah,
is.
let's
So
start with air.
air, and we're starting with lowest value, right?
Yeah, lowest on this side. Yeah,
All right.
fifth spot. Okay, okay.
Headless Haunt and Gibbous Nightgaunt. Make sure they're fully in view here. So Gibbous Nightgaunt is your pick for number 5 slot here.
Yeah, and just as a spoiler, Headless didn't make my top five. It was sort of my number one runner up.
Gotcha.
Um, and I think they fill a similar role. Like Headless Haunt is so nice for the being overstated thing, but Gibbous Nightgaunt is one of those cards that when it came out in Gothic, I wasn't. I sort of looked at it and I was like, how is this better than a plumed Pegasus, right? But it's actually way better than a plumed Pegasus. Like
Yeah.
being able to cast this into the void means that you can do so much to sort of keep it safe um, the turn you play it, and then it can pretty reliably be doing stuff the next turn. Um, yeah, it just ends up being a really useful three drop. I'm always impressed by the work it puts in.
Yeah, and like the airborne can matter because it can once it does
Oh
enter the
yeah,
realm, it can go diagonally, which makes it just harder to block in general. It's just it's really powerful abilities here, and the Void Walk keeping it safe. I think one thing that I didn't realize with this card when I first started looking at it was it's actually a two drop. So it says 3 mana, but most of it feels like confirmation bias tells me that they always have a turn two tower, and this goes right next to me and
yeah,
is really hard to deal with at that point. So it's attacking for it's like a way better boss control.
yeah.
And when you compare it to boss control as a two drop, it's just leagues above. So yeah, I think it's an amazing
Yeah.
three drop.
And with Den of Evil, right? It works with
Yeah,
Den of Evil, which Headless Haunt doesn't. So it's
correct.
got
Yeah,
towers and Dens of Evil to cheat it out early.
which
And
is
then it,
huge.
yeah, it really does feel like an OP early game minion.
Hmm.
And it's so hard to deal with, right? Like
Yeah.
being airborne makes it so they can't just play a red cap Poweries and attack it, right?
Yep. Yep. Which is a big
Well, why
deal.
do you pick? Why is Headless Haunt your number five?
I think it's because it's overstated. It does have some pretty
Hmm.
big drawbacks. Like the random thing is a pretty big drawback. But I'm actually coming up on this a bit. I was a never play this card enthusiast originally. I'm coming up on it a bit. I think things like Tactical Move and Blink and Whirling Blades, things that you're just going to be playing in air with this, it can make it really good. And then the other thing is, by the time you need it to be hitting, you're at like a 60-40% chance having a good location. And like the longer the game goes, the higher that percentage goes up. And
Yeah,
like you can get really screwed by it and just like continuously roll 20 over and over and over and over again. And you're just like never getting anywhere near your opponent. But like that's pretty, that's pretty bad beats. But yeah, again, the Void Walk is powerful for the protection it gives itself. Um, and
yeah,
the turn you play it, you can put it in the void next to one of your sites as a really, really good blocker before it bounces
yeah,
from the random. So that's the other thing that I really like about it. It's like a better autumn unicorn in that scenario. When you're on the back foot, it's better than autumn unicorn because it gets to hide in the
yeah. And
void.
sometimes I don't. I want to play Spark Mage more, and it seems really good in Spark Mage because you're already playing Kythera mechanism and stuff for Spark
Yeah,
Mage. But Headless Haunt was a three of in every air deck for me before Gothic, and I like the randomness because it makes it so much harder for your opponent to play perfectly, right? Because
yeah,
they don't know where it's going to be either. So it's a lot harder for them to make the right play. And so if you can just be chill about it, a lot of times it will tax your opponent's decision making
yeah.
in a fun way.
Yeah, and if you have the tempo and you're just kind of letting it be a thing, and then they have to try to be like, oh, how am I going to block the 4 power thing if it bounces to the right spot, and then they leave open your night gaunt, and then you bounce to an even better spot, and then they're just kind of taking 7 instead of just taking 4, or whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
cool. I think next card,
Yeah, let's see
uh,
them.
Sturmgeist
Oh
for
wow,
me and Stygian Archer for you.
I can't. I mean, both of these cards, like Sturmgeist is showing up higher on my list, and Stygian must be higher on yours
It
because
is, yeah,
they're both clearly better than the first two we picked. I
yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, I can't remember for
Uh,
sure, but I think Gibbous Nightgaunt didn't make my list.
but yeah, I guess
So
Gibbous is really cool. Tell me about like I kind of we've talked about this before. I love Sturmgeist. I think it's really useful. Like, why is it only number four for you?
um I think that it is one of those things that does ask to be answered and is really powerful on the board. But it's actually a lot easier to kill than it looks like. It is airborne, which
Hmm.
protects itself, and it is kind of like a, it doesn't have void walk, so it's kind of comparable to Gibbous Night Gaunts as like 3 power in the air. And the extra ability is huge. But I feel like there's so much going on right now that makes it harder, easier to deal with. Like there's so many um, 4 power things that are just hanging around, which make it really tricky. There's, unless like Archimago is like the only spell heavy, magic heavy deck, everything else is minion heavy.
Hmm.
So like they can just cast minions and artifacts and it doesn't care. And then at some point they can figure out a way to play around it and like force it to move and then kill it with their airborne thing. And then it just kind of, they were able to play around it. So it's pretty easy to play around in the meta currently. And that's my biggest issue with it.
Yeah,
I do like playing this with, I say this all the time, but like I love playing it with Savior because it with a ward is gross. Like it really feels gross. Like turn 3
yeah,
tower, play this with a ward, and it feels really really hard to deal with. Um, but like
yeah,
but the other thing is like the the airborne doesn't protect it from Gargantula, which is another big drawback for it. But
yeah.
anyway,
I
yeah,
mean, I feel you. Like, I often find myself able to play around Sturmgeist when my opponents drop them, but it's still something that you're playing around constantly. And compared to my card, Stygian Archer, which Stygian Archer is just like a sort of very three droppy three drop, right? Like the
Yeah.
upside of making a skeleton is really cool and can lead to some snowbally things with Stygian Archer, which is why I think it outperforms Night Gaunts. Is like on turn 3 or turn 2, I'd slightly rather have Night Gaunts, but then later in the game, Archer is like nice because you can drop it back and then whirling blades it, grapple shot it, and do a lot of like fancy footwork things where you do 6 damage with the
Float it with
one
the Wuthering
minion.
Heights, or float it with your Avatar
Yeah.
Bear, or whatever. The thing I really like about this is the ranged. If this didn't have
Hmm.
ranged, it wouldn't do it for me. But the fact that it can be somewhere and attack and kill something without taking damage is just such a beating. Like, you're like, okay, I need to deal with this, and you draw your kettle top leprechaun, and you're like, damn. And then next turn you draw your autumn unicorn, but then you're like, oh well, they killed my kettle top last turn and got a skeleton. Now they just attack their skeleton and kill my unicorn, and like it's secretly 4 power a lot of times. Sometimes even secretly 5 power if they have a trinket in hand. Like, it pairs so nicely with the other stuff that's happening in air. It pairs nicely with magic missiles and grapple shot and like all those things. It just pairs so nicely with that. I think that is what pushes it into higher categories for me. But
Okay, well, let's look
let's
at the
reveal our
next one.
next.
Is your next?
Oh, my next
Oh,
is
there's your
Gibbous.
Night
Oh,
Gaunts.
that's right. That's right. I
Okay.
don't have Screamer. That's what you have that I don't have. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Gibbous Nightgaunt I have higher than Sturmgeist, because I just think that it's more reliable in its position,
Yeah.
and the Void Walk protects it.
I mean, that
Then you,
seems crazy to me, but I understand what you're saying. I think Screamer is like probably my favorite three drop in air.
yeah. Why is that? Like, I
Like
mean,
it's
like
just
the tap and make it step away. I
yeah,
mean,
I
like,
mean,
that can be aggressive and defensive. Like, just no matter what, you can make that work. That's a
and
pretty
compare
relevant
it to
ability.
every other card we flipped so far. So far, this is the only 3 mana card that does something the turn you play it. Like these are all 3 mana minions with 3 or 4 power for Headless Haunt, but none of them do anything when you play them. Screamer is immediate value when it hits the board. It can do, it's like super flexible. It can be so many different things for you. Like a lot of the time, it can be a kill spell. Like that's why I like it so much. Is like a late game screamer is still really useful. An early game screamer is just a nice way to slow down their pace. I love when you screamer a Mizuji Freet to the back row and then they eat 4 extra damage before they can even step to your side of the board
That's
with their
huge.
Ifrit.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
mean,
just
that
think
is
screamer is so useful.
so the your point about it does something when it enters. It's the only reactive card we've flipped so far. Everything
Mhm.
else is asking a question. This is
Yeah,
answering a question. And I think that can be powerful. Having that reactive nature
I mean,
can
I
be
think
really,
that's air's like air is not inherently. I don't know. Like that's my experience playing with it. Like fire is the proactive element, water is the reactive element, and air and earth are sort of in that middle ground where they like ask questions, but they're not questions that like demand an answer right away. Like they give you so much space, right, to
mm-hmm.
handle it. Like that's the problem with Sturmgeist or Stygian Archers. Like, yeah, it asks a big question, but it asks a big question and then like gives you time to answer it rather than being like Gargantula or, you know, Hyper Parasite even, right? Like that's
Yeah,
kind of asking a question, but can also be I don't know. Yeah, it's
yeah.
hard to think like I just think proactive is kind of better,
That's
especially in air decks.
totally fair. All right, let's flip next. See what we get. Oh, that was weird. There's your
yeah,
Sterngeist, and there's my Stygian
yeah.
Archer. We've kind of covered those already. Um,
Yeah. let's look at the last one, and then
Last
we can
one,
kind of talk about our overall
grapple shot.
rankings. What a surprise!
Yeah, grapple shot is
Yeah,
obviously the best 3 drop in air. I mean, it's like the reason to play air most of the time to me. Like the
yeah,
movement, the extra strike, everything about it is just so good. Like
grapple shot's crazy.
there's really just
There's not
not
much
much
to
else
say
to say
about it.
about it. Yeah, like it's just so good and prove constantly proven as just an amazing card.
Yeah, yep,
Um,
yeah. Grapple shot's an easy winner. So it's funny. Yeah, I love the like cross spot of the Sturmgeist versus Stygian archers, but I think we kind of covered why we think what we think of each of these. Do you have any final thoughts on them?
no, I honestly I stick by my rankings here too. Like
Me
I
too.
don't think that this is how I would order them if I had a chance again, even after our conversation. So um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel 100% the same too.
yeah.
So just different philosophies. I guess the other honorable mention I had was Fear of Animosity,
Oh,
which is
sphere.
it's the displace of the 3 drops. So like in the 2 drop episode, I talked about displace being air's common sense, where it like kind of can do a bunch of different things. And Sphere of Animosity, I think, is actually a multi-tool card where it can be a kill spell, it can shut down, it can be like your Archie hate, it can be your hate for Pathfinder, right? Like it just does a lot of different things around with it because it prevents movement, it prevents healing, and it makes them undefendable. And I think that trifecta makes it super flexible and almost worth considering including in every deck.
Yeah, I've been really low on sphere of animosity, but we talked about it a little bit ago, and I think I've come around a little bit on it. I think
Yeah.
that I am playing it too early and too quickly when I play it. It needs to be a later thing. You need to have built up presence and like have things around that are gonna be able to attack that turn. Or it needs to actually have value the turn you play it. So you need to have something that can attack, or it needs to be something that's someone who's imminently about to heal or imminently about to do something by leaving this area. Um,
Yeah.
so you need to have like a really good reason to play it. And I think I just was like, 3 drop, and just play it on 3. But I don't think that that's really what it's
No.
supposed to be. And
It's
it's
like common sense where like you need to do it when you're at like 5 mana because you're gonna common sense and cast berry.
yeah,
Like you need to play sphere and a grapple shot, or like you're
yeah,
always using it to do a thing
yeah. It's on that
later
like
in the
combo
game.
combo spectrum. Like it just goes well with other stuff. That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
And
I've
then
just been thinking
and
about it
then
wrong.
sometimes you drop it turn 3 against a Pathfinder and say like
They
nanny
scoop.
nanny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or persecutor for that matter.
Ugh, yeah. All right. So that's air. Ooh, you dragged him out of there before I could get to him. All right. So I have water next. That
Yeah, yeah, let's do water next.
sweet. Okay. Really tufted turtles for me. Fey changeling for you.
Interesting. It was really
Ah,
hard for me to cut. Tufted Turtles wanted to be. It's not in my top 5. I
I think
think
I
it's such a
cut.
cool card.
I think I cut Fey changeling for it. Or like that
You're a
he. It was.
savior player. This is this is the difference between a savior addict and a non-savior addict. Like
Yeah,
Turtle
that
is
might.
so crazy in savior.
It really is. I think the other thing to me about this and why I ended up cutting Fey Changeling is because I think they are pretty close. The reason I cut Fey Changeling is every deck I put Fey Changeling in, I'm like waffling between 1 and 2 copies.
Hmm.
If I am putting Tufted Turtle in my deck, that is going to be an all star in my deck, and I will be playing all 4 copies. Um, so I think that that's kind of why it pushed over for me. Um, Obviously, with you're right with
Interesting.
Savior, it is like triple protected and like it protects itself from the ward breaking with its ability. It is so good
Yeah,
with Savior,
yeah.
obviously.
Its ability stops the ward from breaking on the first damage. So
Yep.
so they have to do damage twice to break the ward.
And then do damage twice again to kill it on a future
Yeah,
turn or 3 or whatever. But yeah, but I agree. Fey Changeling is awesome. Huge tempo piece. Is maybe more versatile and like goes in more decks, but there's less copies of it. I don't know. I could
yeah.
go back and forth in this, but
That's exactly right. Like Fey Changeling, you run one, really two, but sometimes only one, but usually two copies in almost every water deck. But rarely do you run three unless you're mono water and you're really struggling for removal.
Yeah,
Um, Whereas Tufted Turtles is a doesn't make it into a lot of decks card, but the decks that it's in, it loves.
yeah, that's a fair point. All right, next up.
Next up,
Ooh,
who
Order of the Sacred Oak. Um, Honestly, I know it has a second line of text, but it comes up
it
so
does?
rarely. Comes up so rarely. Like I'm pushing myself to play more sinkholes in general. So I need to be making sure I'm paying attention to Sacred Oak on the board when it's out. When I have sacred when I since I'm playing sinkholes, but I the 3 power ward, good, good enough.
Yeah, yeah. 3 power ward is just good enough to be a like superstar 3 drop.
Yeah,
The second line ability, I'm like when this episode comes out, I will have just served as the judge for our first big cornerstone of the year. And like one of the things I'm thinking a lot about in preparing for judging is these ongoing effects that easily get missed and drastically affect the game. And this is one where like I feel like I always forget that that effect is there, and then something does get sinkholed, and then like 3 turns later, I'm like, wait, there's an Order of the Sacred Oak here. Like, how did that site get destroyed?
yeah, yeah.
And
It's definitely an easy miss. So I definitely want to be paying attention to it more in general. But yeah, yeah,
yeah,
good enough 3 drop.
oh
Next we have Lugbog
oh,
Cat.
yeah, look at us synchronized. The goat.
uh, so the fact that this can go to any water site is something that I think gets missed a lot. If your opponent's
Mm-hmm.
on water, play it right on their face. Do it. Do it. It's so good. It feels so nice. And then you're like, wait, what? Oh God. Okay, yeah. It's just so hard to deal with at
Yeah, and
that point.
then and with Pond, I mean,
In
Pond
pond,
works
yeah.
with Turtle too, which is one of the things I like about Turtle. But
Mhm.
Pond Cat often is like a 2 card win, right? Like sometimes a turn 2 Lugbog Cat is just an auto win.
Yeah, it really can be. I mean, I've played games against people who are playing like Wave Shaper, and I'm like, oh, Wave Shaper, not very powerful. And then they play a turn 2 cat, and then they play a third sight and start playing other 3 drops, and then they just start tapping down my stuff, and like their cat is just
Yep.
coming in and eating me alive. So it's so good in that state. But yeah,
Yeah.
known good card. What's next? Ooh,
Oh, okay,
Koenigsegg.
we're gonna be
We're gonna
flipped.
swap
Let's
our.
just
We're
do
gonna,
the
yeah, we might
last
as well swap our
two.
last one
Yeah.
here too.
I debated this so much for the top slot.
They're both
Why?
so good. They're
They're
I
so good.
honestly, they're like really really tight on terms of
Oh,
what they're which one's
man.
better. Like
Yeah, Swap changed the game so much. Like
it did.
Swap is the defining card when you're playing against water. Like you have to think about it. You have to think about the matchup differently than every other matchup because Swap exists, right?
Yep.
Like when you play your ring, when you right, like there's so many things that Swap can do that are just mind-boggling and outside of the realm of what any other card really does, except for maybe kind of like Scatter is the poor man's swap,
Yeah,
or like
Scatter's amazing too,
extra
but
swaps.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, extra swap.
Um,
Yeah.
but so swap, I think, is very much an incredible card, but Nixie wins out for me because it kind of does everything that swap does and is a minion. Like it doesn't do it quite as well as swap, but like the number of times that Nixie has been the kill spell in a game is about equal to the number of times that swap has been a kill spell in a like they both work really well for dealing the death blow.
Yeah. I think the reason I put swap above Nixie is because if thin ice doesn't exist, Koi Nixie is on the other end of this list. It still makes the list, but it's way
Yeah,
lower down.
it's like way down.
And
Yeah.
like I didn't want to put it at the top slot because of it combos with something that like I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me was like, and like kind of pawned cat is kind of the same thing. Like if pawn doesn't exist, cat isn't as high on this list. But Koinixie feels like it is an auto include at 3 because Thin Ice is an auto include at 3, and um
And Troll Bridge. Like
and Troll
there's
Bridge.
like right because you have multiple sites to use this with in water, like because your six is 1/5 of your atlas is going to be sites that Koinixie can abuse.
Yep. And if you're mono water, you get 2 more, but um, Void and Pit. And yeah, so anyway, um, but yeah, that's a good point. Like it is really powerful with those 2 sites.
And it can move avatars. Like that's
God, that
Swap
is
can't move an
huge.
avatar.
But oh man, the thing I don't know. I could go back and forth. We could go back and forth in this all day, honestly. But like Swap,
Yeah.
the fact that it touches artifacts is why it's up here to me. Because like the how often when I'm playing a water deck am I like, oh crap, I got doored first. Okay, well they doored me. Now I get to door them. I have a minion protecting me to keep me to hold up a blocker to keep away their thing. Um, then next turn they put up a defender. I swap my defender for their defender, and I kill them and win the game. And respect to that, like, that's not an artifact, obviously, but like that is such a broken pattern that like is. I mean, I don't know. They're both amazing.
Yeah.
I
I
could
mean
probably go back and forth on it.
Swap is effectively a toolbox with Zap, you know. Like if you think about it, toolbox is 2 to play and 1 to zap. And Swap is almost as effective, if not more effective than Zap at guaranteeing a kill. And then also it removes an artifact, which Toolbox costs 4 to do that. So it's like kind of just better than Toolbox.
I mean, Toolbox gets rid of a ring at 3 mana with
Oh, it's
Jester
rock.
Rock, but
Yeah, that's true.
Swap gives you the ring.
Yeah. Swap takes the ring, does not destroy it.
Oh man.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is it's a narrow fight.
yeah,
Um, I think
yeah.
it's
It's
appropriate
it
that
does.
looks like this.
Agreed.
My other honorable
Ooh.
mentions were Mariner's Curse and Bullfrog. Um,
Oh
Bullfrog,
man.
I think, pretty obviously doesn't make the list, but is such a cool card.
Yeah, it is such a cool card. I love Bullfrog, and like it has so many good uses. It's like it's kind of like it feels like a reactive Archangel Michael sometimes, which sounds like a stupidest thing
Yeah,
to say for a 3-drop beast thing here, but like it feels so good in that slot. Like you just
yeah,
like they've attacked you, you play this, you pick up whatever it is, and it's just so good.
yeah. And then
Mariner's
I
Curse.
love
Oh,
Mariner's Curse is well also like works with Nixie, right? So it ends
yeah,
up being your like 3 more copies of that like insta kill with Nixie infinity usage
yeah.
scenario. Um, I love Mariner's Curse in true mono water. Like it's because it all and with Riptide it feels great too because like just having this reusable removal that combos with so many pieces in your deck, Undertow, like Maelstrom, you name it.
It's really powerful. I've
Uh,
been playing around with a mono water witch list that plays Mariner's Curse, and it just
oh,
uses it as a repeatable removal spell. And
yeah.
it's so fun. It's so hard to play around too. I think that's the thing about it is like once the reason I don't think it actually makes this list is once you learn how to play around Mariner's Curse, it becomes a lot less of an issue. And I think that it's like the first couple times I played against it, I just like auto lost because I had no idea how to play around it. But the more I get to play around it, it feels a little easier to deal with. But
Mm.
thoughts
Yeah,
on that?
that's a good point. Yeah, and like once you've seen it, you should be able to kind of know how it's going to work moving forward, but it's still a huge threat. The only other thought with Mariner's Curse is you like the decks that want it, you want 3 because you want to get it, but then sometimes you draw 2 of them, and that's the worst feeling.
Yeah. Very, very true. All right.
Okay.
So I have Earth next. Do you want to do that, or
Yeah,
do you
let's
want to?
do it. Yeah, let's do Earth next.
Cool.
You and your
Ooh,
landmass addiction.
yeah.
I've been playing your deck and modifying it, and I've now cut all the land masses from it because
Which with the which deck? The Interrogator, the Earth Air Interrogator.
yeah, the Earth Air Interrogator. I just
Oh,
it feels so slow. Like it is a very like it's a core that can't be removed by artifact removal and costs two more.
yeah. I can I can understand why it doesn't feel great sometimes. It's a terrible top deck, much like a core.
Yeah.
Um, but
uh,
it's just so good with it's so good with avatars that have a tap ability. I just like
Yeah.
that is just such a huge deal to me. But yeah, that I mean obviously it's ramp that gets out sites without tapping your avatar, so that's why it's here to me. Duel for you.
Yeah. It's landmass is a big deal in the format
Mm,
too. Like I think as a card to think about, like when you're against an Earth deck, knowing that they could sort of double, sort of like knowing Imperial Road style effects are way like there's a very high probability that someone's going to be able to drop two sites in a row anytime turn three or later. And if that's a problem for your deck, then like be aware.
yeah,
Dual
yeah,
Dual edged out landmass for my number five because I'm just falling in love with Duel more and more. I think it should go in every toolbox in a deck that can is in Earth. I think I main deck it in common sense decks. Like it's one of my new favorite common sense targets. It is one Earth threshold, so it's really easy to run in multicolored decks. Like 'cause for a long time, I was just like, "Oh, Smite. Why would you play Duel with Smite out there?" But Smite, that one extra mana and um, one more Earth threshold makes a huge difference. Like the number of times that I can duel to door is crazy. Where like you just do like you eke in just that extra. It's kind of like a grapple shot in Earth,
yeah,
right? And like grapple shot is easily the best, like one of the best three drops in the game, maybe the best three drop in the game. And duel is not quite grapple shot level, but it's
yeah.
pretty great.
It is. I totally agree that it's really good, and I agree that
And
it should
Earth
go in every.
struggles for door knockers, so
It
that's
does.
why you need it too.
Yeah, it does go in every toolbox that can cast it. Absolutely agree with that. Um, the two things that this doesn't do that grapple shot does is it doesn't give you movement, and
Hmm.
it's not a strike, it's a fight. So often this is not a removal spell. um it's I attack with my lugbog cat trying to get, or my unicorn trying to get you to block with your lugbog cat. If you block, fine. If you don't, I do four, then I cast my duel and kill your thing. And that
Yeah,
being the floor of it feels bad, because then you're two
yeah.
for
Using
one in
it to
yourself.
force trades,
Yeah,
is yeah, self two for one. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason it's number five. Like, I
yeah.
definitely, and I think, but it's good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, let's
All
see
right.
what's next. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
this is
sense.
this just like this a three mana, three power warded minion is always the number four pick in its
Yeah, no,
element.
so good, so good. Um, the I pay more. I'm able to see this secondary ability way more easily for some reason than Order of the Sacred Oak. Um, this one says your necromancer doesn't summon skeletons. It says if your opponent tries to get their druid tries to flip for Bruin nearby this, it doesn't work. Um, so it can be really, really powerful, that second ability. But just again, just three power, three mana, ward, nothing to sneeze at. It's just really powerful.
Yeah, I think the ability is way more noticeable because it comes up way more, so you're
That's
used
fair.
to catching it. Though it does get missed a lot anyway, like especially in limited. I feel like
Mm,
this is one of those cards that shows up in many limited games, and then like you miss the proc on it when they play their manland or whatever.
yeah. All right. Enough said on that one, I suppose. Oh, autumn unicorn.
Identical to water.
Yeah. Um. This is why I want to play mud though. Like this, like the fact that the third and fourth best card at 3 for both earth and water are just so easy auto include symmetrical things that like wants I want to play mud because of that. And it doesn't end up working out very well. But anyway, yeah, autumn unicorn,
Yeah. Yeah, I love my Mud Beastmaster Savior deck.
so
It's not
fun.
actually good
Mm-mm,
against good decks, but
mm-mm.
it's against fair decks, it feels broken.
It does. It really does. All right. Next out of the gate is oh furry. Should we just flip the last
We
one?
have the same last one.
No way.
Overbearing Bailiff.
No way. You cannot
Best
be
card of the
serious.
7 power for 3 mana. It's the best card in the game.
I can't tell if you're joking.
Of course I'm kidding. Yeah, no. It's Root Spider.
Oh my god. Yeah, root spider is clearly the best here. Yeah, so bury and root spider are both weak to water, and that's
Yep.
the only thing that can be said about either of them. Otherwise, they are
Yeah.
just amazing cards. 3 mana, 1 earth threshold each. Remove a thing or as bury, or remove a thing and protect yourself forever from it with root spider. They're just
Yeah.
so good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Root Spider has run the game of sorcery for so long, and they're still printing. Like they keep printing more Root Spider hate because it's still good.
Yeah,
Like I wonder with Ground Slam coming out, and like I wonder if after the next set there'll just be so many ways to deal with Root Spiders that it stops being good. But I kind of doubt it.
the funny thing to me is like the best ways to deal with root spider are both in earth fire, which you're going to be playing your own root spiders. So like
Hmm.
to me, it's like it's not going to stop them seeing play. Um,
Although like Floodplain is still an auto include in water decks for me, just for that
oh,
like Root Spider counter.
for sure. And the fact that it gives you a
Um,
second water threshold, which like just never actually occurred to me for a very long time.
oh yeah,
Um,
it's a fixing site too.
yeah. But yeah,
Um, I will say with Barry, like Cave In, now that Ward exists, Cave In becomes the choice in some decks, like especially if your deck's a landmass deck or like any sort of ramping deck where you feel like you can afford to pay 1 extra to be able to bury things that are warded. Um,
yeah. Um, Before Cave In, I was pretty heavily on 3 to 4 buries and 2 earthquakes in my earth
mhm.
decks. And now I'm taking the same 5 to 6 slots and splitting them between the same these same 2 cards plus Cave In. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
two
think
two
that's
two
fair.
is a lot of times what I end up with because they're just the
Yeah,
extra flexibility that Cave In gets you against Ward is huge. The mass removal potential against things is huge. Especially in Earth where you have so many, and we're not talking about Bury right now, but with Earth with so many of its defensive sites forcing things around in specific ways, it really sets your opponent up for a massive blowout with Cave In a lot of
yeah,
times. So,
totally agree. And the
um,
nice thing about Barry though is the auto include in toolbox for
yeah,
sure, where it is just 5 mana, remove anything, and
I
yeah,
still kind of can't believe that it's just anywhere. Like that's like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the fact that it's not nearby or 2 steps away or anything like that. Like that just still kind of is
yeah,
like a little bit mind bending to me. But
yeah. That's why Buried Alive doesn't see any play.
yeah, for sure. Oy. All
I
right.
guess my
So
runner-up was Shield Maidens, was the only other thing I was gonna mention.
Shield Maidens was a quick
I think,
was a one that was near my list as well. I think it's
yeah,
too
like, I
narrow
think
to be an auto
yeah,
include, but yeah,
exactly. But it goes in a lot of decks,
it
and
does.
I know people who've had crazy Shield Maiden synchro decks.
All right, we're moving into fire. Mizuge,
Yeah,
Ifrit, Flame Strike. I'm guessing that if we do
our next
this,
one is, yeah, yep,
um, these are clearly 4 and 5. That how you split them up is
yeah.
um,
I mean, I guess so the Flame Strike debate is it Flame Strike, Disintegrate, or Minor Explosion? And in the current card pool, I think Flame Strike wins this debate in most decks, especially if you have any sort of avatar mobility or uh, spellcasters.
yeah,
Because, like, if you can position Flame Strike flexibly, it's so much better than Minor Explosion because it, you know, it does the Minor Explosion thing plus bonus.
yeah.
Um, There are game like sometimes in my toolbox, I don't fit both of these, and then I end up in a game where I needed Minor Explosion to win. Like it does, like if somebody's ironclad on their imposter at the end of game, Minor Explosion's a little better for hitting them.
Because it has that just like slight extra range, half a step
Yeah,
extra range.
yeah. And then it's crazy to me. I think Disintegrate isn't gonna make either of our lists,
Mm-mm.
but it's maybe like the best, or not the best, but it's up there for one of the best hard removal spells in the game. Like I think it's polymorph level good, and polymorph was our number one or number two in the two drops video. But it's just fire wants very specific three drops in every deck, and disintegrate doesn't make every deck.
Yeah, and I think that it has to do with the proactive versus reactive thing we were talking about a little earlier, where
Hmm.
fire is
Yeah,
more
fire is
proactive
proactive. Yeah,
and water being reactive. And the fact that it's 3 mana in the proactive deck is more mana in the proactive deck makes it really hard to include. Whereas the cheaper one, polymorph, is way easier to include in the reactive deck. Like if they were
yeah,
swapped on mana costs, they'd probably be a little closer in value because of just how their elements line up. But I mean,
yeah,
disintegrate is still good. I usually have it as a one or a two of in decks, a one of in a lot of decks. But it just a lot of times it just
yeah.
doesn't line up quite well.
A lot of my decks end up with flame strike and disintegrate, and no and minor explosion just in the toolbox nowadays. But they're all, like disintegrate's great for hard removal, but flame strike being able to be removal and also push damage or door knock, I think wins it out for that.
It's a little
Then
sad to
Ifrit,
me. It's a little sad to me that minor explosion has been relegated to collection only because like it really feels like that sometimes to me. Like you just like it doesn't feel good enough to play in your main deck most of the time anymore, and that's just so crazy to me. And feels a little
yeah, and
sad,
it
but
used to be like one of the best, like before Gothic. It's weird to, like, and maybe it's the decks we're playing. Like, I do
maybe
think in a lot of decks, minor, like a sorcerer aggro, right? Like sorcerer based mono fire or fury road. I think you actually want minor explosion, not flame strike, because you're never moving your avatar and you don't have a lot of fire spellcasters. And so this is a little better at being able to hit what you want to hit.
yeah, you take a step and you can reach further. That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, minor explosion for killing Morganas was just like I feel
Mwah.
like all the rage for so long.
Chef kiss. All right,
And then Ifrit.
free. Yeah, I mean it's fires Lugbog Cat and Autumn Unicorn, but it has Airborne and has a downside. So and it's
Yeah.
elite. So like I don't know, like the downside of losing the 2 life doesn't feel too bad most of the time when you're being so proactive with fire. But I still value it less than the flame strike removal. So that's a little lower on my list. But why do you value it higher?
I think it just wins me games in fire is really what it comes down to. Is like Ifrit playing Ifrit on turn 3 is such good tempo. I love that the downside only happens if they didn't solve it, right?
It's fair.
And so, like, if they remove it the turn after you play it, you never got any downside and you just played a piece of removal bait and now you go back to playing your red caps, right?
Yeah.
Um, but if they don't remove it, it's gonna push more damage. It does crazy like for Blaze of Glory and Warp Spasm too, which like there's just a lot of things where having bigger stuff is better. But it is a little slow, like it not being charged or doing anything the turn you play it is why it's not in the top three. And I love
Completely fair.
anything that steals control of it, like the like using infiltrate to take it or betrayal. Like betrayaling someone's Ifrit is the coolest thing you can ever do because you effectively do 8 damage to them with that one spell and slow down their Ifrit. And Screamer, like all the things that sort of push it back, like then make them have to eat more of that damage are really powerful.
That, like, to me, that's why it's lower. Like, that just, like, the fact that there's so many little things that are just good in the meta
Yeah.
already that are just like pack breaking with
Yeah.
Mizzouge.
I mean, you might have convinced me. Like, and you need like when you look at this, like the trifecta of these three cards, like you know you're gonna run at least 4 3 mana burn spells or disintegrates.
Yeah.
Ifrit is pretty auto include. Like I don't think I build a fire deck that doesn't have Ifrit in it anymore, but it is. I don't know. You've convinced me. We've had
All right.
one place where you've convinced me.
Let's see if we're just going to be straight on here. Red
Let's just
Caps.
show the next three.
Three. Yeah, it's
This is.
pretty. Yeah,
Are we identical?
we're
Yeah.
identical.
I convinced
Um,
you in our pre-discussion because when
yeah,
we
because
were
we were
prepping for
different
this.
earlier. I was pretty
um,
high on red caps before, but yeah, I think the and it's funny because we were just talking about how I didn't want to include Koi Nixie because it combos with Thin Ice, but these two I didn't want to include because it combos with uh, Gift of the Serpent. Like both of these are
mm,
just are made so much better by the fact that Gift of the Serpent exists. Um,
yeah, you can grant them lethal with a 2 mana cantrip,
mhm.
and then they just kill anything at the end of turn.
But I mean, yeah, we can just start kind of in order here. Still, like the 3 mana, 3 power charge is kind of exactly what Fire wants.
Yeah, and like Warhorse was our number one fire. Was 2 mana, 2 power charge with like bonus extra
Yeah,
stuff, which makes it really stand out. But just an on rate, pay 3, charge in for 3 is exactly what you want to do in fire. Um, like sometimes you can use it to trade out with stuff if you need to, but really you want to be attacking their site with it and forcing them to come up with a response.
and then
The reason it's not at the top for me, I think, is that it doesn't have anything tricky about it. You know, like it has its floor and its ceiling are like the same. It does the exactly what Red Cap Powery does. Whereas these next two cards have a floor which is super solid, but then they have these crazy upside ceilings that are way
yeah,
better.
I that does make sense. The ceiling is higher on the other two, but the fact that this is consistently always exactly what it is also part of its strength. Because like I can't think of a fire deck where I'm not excited to see a red cap poweries off the top. Like I'm just like no matter
Yeah,
what, like it's just it always feels good. But yeah,
yeah, 100%. And
all
then
right,
Dragonets, yeah, 3 power for 3 mana, 2 fire threshold, end of turn shoots a 1 damage projectile. So I mean, we have to talk about it. Compare it. So then, Quarrelsome Kobold is 3 mana, 1 fire threshold for 2 power that strikes for its power at end of turn. And so these are identical slotted cards. Like the only thing that Dragonets combos with that Kobolds doesn't combo with is fire breathing, which is one of the reasons I love Dragonets.
yeah,
But there's a bunch of things that kobolds combos with that dragonets doesn't combo with. Things like Gift of the Wolf, Gigantism, like anything that's going to increase your minion's power, even Jihad, is going to
Trinket.
make kobolds do more. And so they're very similar cards. For a long time, like people go back and forth on these, right? Because Dragonet being 2 power makes kobolds killable with a Violent and with another kobold, which really hurts, right? Like playing Dragonets and knowing they're 3 power kind of protects them from a lot of incidental damage tricks. Like they have to use real removal on a Dragonet. They can't remove it incidentally very easily.
Yeah.
And it's better at dealing a death blow because it can shoot across the realm.
Uh, yeah, I think the fact that that kobolds is one fire threshold combos so well with those earth pump spells, and the fact that Violent is a little bit out of favor at the moment, I think is why it's on top. But it very well could become slide down the slot in the future. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about kobolds is it's like a turn, it's like a turn 4 door in some cases. Like I mentioned this before, but like Jihad turn 2, Kobolds turn 3, Gigantism turn 4, and that's just door. Um,
Yeah.
so like that
Guarantees. Yeah.
guaranteed door if they can't remove the Kobolds. So like that feels um, so insane. And it is
Yeah.
so insane. And like you don't even need the like without the jihad, that's still gross, right? Like
Hmm.
um, 16 damage from this and a gigantism. It's amazing. But yeah, so
Yeah. It's. I think that's exactly like I think Colicky Dragonets has a slightly higher floor, but Kobold's ceiling is way
way
higher than
higher.
Dragonet's
Yeah,
ceiling, and so it wins out in a lot of decks.
yeah,
But there are decks that don't run 3 of each, and like this is right. Like so, looking at this, you really this is 3 power minion, 3 mana minions that you want to run in fire. If you're not mono fire, it becomes hard to run all 11.
it
And so
does.
like then which ones do you cut, you know?
For a while there, I was cutting both of these, um, and I was running red caps and Mizzouge. But I've
Interesting. Yeah.
more recently I've been cutting my Mizzouges and going down to 1 or 2 red caps so I can make room for 2 or 3 of each of these.
Yeah.
But it's such a hard cut between those. Like those are just like, and they're all doing something really similar that's like on the same path. That like, um, but but you can't have all of them because you do need bigger stuff. Like you just do. Like you can't.
Oh
You
no,
really
you play mono fire and then you can run all of them
but
because
no, like even then, like, are you really gonna have like your top like cut at 3 mana? Like that's just so low. Like so
well,
many 4 and 5 drops just outclass all of these.
yeah, but 11 3 drops is the perfect number for a constructed mono fire deck. Like you want between
I guess.
36 and 40 minions usually. And so you're
Yeah,
talking like less than you want a little less than a third of them to be 3 drops. Like that seems pretty good.
that's fine, I guess. Yeah, but then but like if you're in
I
mono
actually
fire,
run
then
more than that.
you also want Boudica and
Yeah,
Morgana. Um,
Morgana.
but Boudica's 4, obviously, but still,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so honorable mentions for you. Do you have any? Probably Morgana.
I mean it was just the minor explosion and
Oh yeah,
disintegrate. I mean Begone is interesting just for Persecutor, but
yeah,
I did pull the like
the
the big
uniques.
money 3 mana uniques. And then this is kind of like the honorable mention of the 3 mana uniques.
I love Cerberus so much, and it's just so bad in most decks, which is so sad.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
agreed.
uh,
Yeah, do you want yeah,
let's order
Warp
these because there's so
Spasm.
many of them. This is how I have them ordered.
I think that's right for most decks. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, because Blaze of Glory is 2 pips, it can be played in more decks than
Yeah.
these other two. You're still always gonna put Morgana in your deck if you're playing fire. Like it's just too much card advantage to not do it.
And I if I'm mono fire, yes. If I'm splashing fire,
I guess yeah, if you're
God.
like a Geomancer with a splash of fire or something like that, yeah, you wouldn't
I
play
mean, like,
her.
it's it's really common. She is auto include. Like in terms of the way the community sees it, she is auto include. But there were too many times for me personally where she was dead in hand, and then it's forcing me to make bad decisions to draw sites to get the third fire threshold just so I can get 3 cards off of her because she's so broken that like
Yeah,
it. Oh man, I just maybe that's just I was making bad decisions. Like that could very easily be it, and she just makes me make bad decisions in non-mono fire decks.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
then Warp Spasm is wins more game. Like I don't know, I love. I think Warp Spasm is so good. Like it has won me more games. Like there's so many games where someone thinks they've got me, and then I Warp Spasm. You know, like it's a blowout card that doesn't just clear their board, it clears their board and then piles some damage on them at the end.
yeah. Um, it is really good. There's some really cool stuff with Warp Spasm that is amazing. I If your minion is warded, it doesn't die.
Or if it didn't
If you play a
or if it
charge
didn't
minion,
fight anything.
if
Yeah.
you if you even if you play a charge minion with Savior and then you Warp Spasm it, you can run it around killing stuff, ward it after, and then it won't die.
What? I hadn't
Um,
even thought about that move.
it's really cool in that like a mono
I
fire
mean, you need
Savior, but
7
like
mana, but then you get a 6 power Powery that runs around, kills a few things, and then
does 6 damage and then
doesn't
doesn't die.
die. Wow.
And Savior
I
can
love
get to
that.
7 mana. But yeah, anyway. But Blaze of Glory is clearly the
Cool.
best of these just because it like just it's warp spasm on crack in a lot of cases. Like sometimes your thing doesn't even die because it just does so much damage and doesn't take too much. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's fire.
Okay, well, let's close it out with uh, multi-element and artifact.
Yeah, let's just flip these over. I don't know what you have in yours,
Yeah,
but mine are in no particular order.
you did the uniques.
I think all mine are uniques. I don't know. Like
Yeah, I
this
didn't.
is
So yeah, interesting.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was kind of struggling with this list because like with the multicolor and artifact pieces, like because like they're all so situational. Like every single one of these is like so good in the right deck and so
yeah.
bad in the wrong
Well,
deck that like I just like
their Agravain and Serpelius are more or less auto include in the decks that run those elements. Like they're very good cards
yeah
that work in every deck that can run them, right?
yeah
But they're unique, so I didn't count them.
yeah fair. Um,
Um, Angel's Egg is the one that didn't make, like that was going to be my honorable mention because Angel's Egg being literally turned off by River of Blood, which is an exceptional sight.
that's everywhere in one of the most popular elements.
Yeah,
I just
yeah, it's just
I agree. But when they don't have it, when they don't have the River of Blood, this just single
oh
handedly
yeah,
wins you games. Like I have
oh
lost
yeah, pre
so many
Gothic
games
Angel's Egg. Yeah,
because of Angel's Egg. All right.
that's very true.
Um,
And then my actual top five, I did Blightstone because it's Blightstone and it kind of does cool stuff in the decks that can do it. Tombstone Warden is one that I like to play in more decks than the average person because it's a great like early game stall tactic if you need it.
yeah. This is
Um,
just a placeholder for any of the
I
knights, I suppose.
yeah, all of the knights I think are undervalued. A lance is pretty darn good. Like being able to pay 3 mana, play it down, give the lance to something, have that thing, kill what it was facing off against, right? Like they thought they had 1 power up on you, like they played their cat opposite your dragonette. and then you drop your knight on your dragonette. Dragonette kills the cat,
with the
and now
lands.
you've
Yeah,
got still got the dragonette, and you've got a 3 power strike, 2 power defense minion left behind. It like doesn't make most decks because you're trying to run other stuff, but I've been playing around with putting more knights into decks.
I think knights should be in more decks than they are in for sure. I it
Yeah,
they're always overperforming for me.
yeah. And then
Oh, scatter.
scatter. I love scatter. I think it's such a strong card. I actually like it better than swap. Like I don't think it is better than swap, but I like it better than swap because it does. I don't know. I play it in all my elementalist decks, obviously, and the number of times that I scatter their ring out of their hands and then like step forward to go pick it up, it's like, oh, like if I had a swap, I would have just swapped it right into my hands, but I still got to steal the ring.
But then you wouldn't have pushed their other minions around. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and like
It
there is other
removes
upside
so
there.
many things. Yeah.
And because it's
The
in
scatter.
God, this card is crazy. It's so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't had much chance to actually play with it, but it is a really cool card. I hate seeing it played against me. I don't know. It's like one of my the bane of my existence sometimes.
It goes
'Cause
great in its elements. Yeah. Yeah, so it was between scatter and onslaught for the best multicolor spells at 3 mana was sort of the debate for me. And I went with onslaught because onslaught does so much. Like,
yeah, onslaught is like it just does everything, right? Like it makes your trades no longer trades. It gets your stuff off of top of um their spider. It lets you attack on top of their spider if you need to for killing at door. Like it just does so many things.
yeah, you
It
can do like crazy things like where you move your spider under their avatar and then onslaught to attack onto their avatar and they can't block. Like
Yeah,
my favorite my favorite is onslaughting a slumbering giantess though.
that is really
Still my
fun.
all-time favorite thing to do.
That's
Yeah,
really interesting one
great
because you
card.
have to like kill a minion to like
Yeah,
wake her up again, like fully wake
yeah,
her up.
yeah. As
But
long as she fights something, she gets woken up.
yeah, but you can't. But you have to like have her actually attack something. You can't just let her attack a site, otherwise
Yeah,
she'll go back to sleep. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So these are all really good cards. I think that all of these are so situational, and I think that's why I was struggling with this list is just because they're all so
yeah.
situational. Like if you're in one of the dual elements that has the yellow knight, purple knight, blue knight, or oh god, blue, yellow, purple. What's the fourth one?
My
Not
God, why
remember.
can't I remember it?
I'll look it up
That
on my
I
notes
can
right
like
here.
picture them. The purple, I can picture the
Vanguard.
blue.
Nope, that's not it.
No, no.
I'm just gonna type knight over here and see what I get. Um, blue knight. Oh, verdant knight. That's what it is.
Verdant. Oh, that's why we couldn't. It's not a color.
Yeah,
Like all of the other ones are colors because
colors.
there's also Black Knight and White Knight.
Yeah, black knight and white knight are funny. They kind of fit in this cycle, but they're much worse. Um, but yeah, even though they're 5 mana, but yeah, so they're just so, like those are really good in the in the element combos. Same with these. They're really if you're in the element combo, they're really good. Tombstone, Morden, and Blightstone, they're just so situational. Like I love Blightstone.
Yeah.
It's so fun. No one ever sees it coming. It destroys games. It makes the games so unfun. I have to say that for Jesse. Jesse got mad at me for talking about Blightstone, so say that for him.
Dude,
Uh,
don't play it. Don't play
um,
Archimago. Don't play Blightstone. Just let's make the game fun for everyone. But
Tombstone Warden is
I don't
really
know.
cool, but like it's kind of goes back and
Yeah,
forth for me in terms of if it's good or not.
yeah. I mean, a lot of removal works on it. Is
Yeah.
sort of the downside to it, and then yeah. But I still like it a lot. What Boris made your list?
Oh yeah. So I think
That
boars
second line matters a lot, I
matters
guess.
a lot. Yeah, I think that it has its place somewhere. Like I'm just like waiting for it to have its place. It's in its moment in the sun because range 2 is huge. Like that's amazing. Um, and the enemies lose stealth that matters a bunch too. So like they're just it's so good, and the two toughness is so, or two defense is so hard to justify
Yeah.
most of the time.
I mean, it's an Avatar of Air card. I feel like in Avatar of Air, I'd play it for sure.
I play it in savior decks too sometimes. Um,
Yeah, if you can defend it that way.
but yeah, no, it's a cool card. I want it to be better than it is. I think that's probably why it's here. Um, but yeah,
Cool. Well,
but
those are the
yeah,
the 3 mana cards.
yeah, that's a good one. Any last thoughts on any of this, or
I think that's it. The only other card that we didn't talk about that I had was my unique for water, the Ino debate. Are you
yeah?
pro Ino or not into Ino?
So, you know that weird tactic that sometimes comes up in air decks where you have your um, phase assassin, you put it in the void, you attack with it, and then next turn you step it into the void. It feels like
Yeah,
it's the same thing as this. I have never been a fan of the step your phase assassin into the void to get it south again. That's just never been a playstyle I've been into. It makes more sense in water with Ino because water is more plotting, defensive, going to do things that way. It also is just not telegraphing, but combos nicely with your Ruler of Thule. Um, yeah, I think that it's probably overplayed. Honestly,
yeah. That's my
that's my
feeling
hot
on
take.
Ino. Is I don't think it's worth it in most decks. Like if your deck's really planning to drag out the game, like it can pile on damage over time, but it doesn't answer a threat on the board usually. It just kind of is 3 damage every other turn, which is not quite enough. Like
I
that's
mean,
worse than a devil's egg.
yeah, it's way worse than Devil's Egg, but like that we didn't even have Devil's Egg in here. But this is kind of the thing that like it wants to be in to me, where you're just like always replaying your Mariner's Curse and you're just slowly stepping your Ino back and forth. You're killing
Yeah,
everything they put down with the Mariner's Curse, and eventually you win the
yeah,
game. But like,
yeah. I do want to play more of those like submerge centric mono water decks where like yeah you're playing Mariner's Curse and Nixie and Riptides and yeah you are just kind of like trying to drag out the game and
you're playing
like
Orm
not let them
Infestors
do
and
anything. Yeah. And then yeah, Orb Fester and Ino might be great for those decks just to like have
that's what the
steady.
mono water witch is that I have built is trying to do. But
Is a cool idea actually. Well,
yeah,
nice, we did it. I wonder
yeah.
if we're gonna do. Are we gonna do 4 drops too?
I feel like we should do 4 and 5 drops combined. Like 4 and 5 drops get combined together. Maybe I don't know.
Oh,
But
maybe. We'll discuss.
yeah, we will. All right. Well,
Let us know what your favorite 3 drops are.
yeah.
Uh,
What 3 drops did we miss? And
yeah,
then until next time, catch you later.
yeah. Keep playing Beyond the Ordinary.